We had talked, I found it very, very fascinating that when you worked at the jail, you dealt with Manson.
Mm.
How was he?
Um, it's interesting, TV and the media have ruined everything for cops. Uh, he was just another inmate, and he tried to con you, and I think, probably I learned a little bit more from him than the other ones because I just find him kind of fascinating, and he tried to goat you into stuff, and but he was just like everyone else. He was basically a pain in the butt because every time he did anything, we had a notebook on him. A log. We had to note. And when we had to note everything he ate for dinner because we didn't want him going to court and say, oh, they're trying to starve him. He was a vegetarian. So inmate Manson ate his peas, this, that, didn't eat his meat, 2 cups of coffee. Whenever we moved him in the jail, we had to lock the jail down on that floor that we moved him. So it was a pain in the butt, but just another inmate.
I found it interesting though. You you kind of say he was kind of a pain. He essentially talked these other people into joining a cult and killing people for him and everything else. Did you find him? I don't know. Did you find him smarter? Was he just more manipulative? What was it? And maybe you don't know, but what was it that he had in him about his personality that he was able to talk these people into basically committing crimes for him?
Well, I think you have to bring in the drugs. I think that's most of these people were high, which they're obviously a lot more manipulative than if they weren't. And I think they looked at him as like a father figure, a guru type of thing. And I think what happened is that stuff just kind of grew and grew and grew and finally just enveloped them to where they just couldn't see anything else.
Yeah.
That was my opinion. He tried to, he tried to goat you into this and goat you into that, but he just didn't listen to it.
Can you talk about the story of one of the jailers basically giving him a bad time? And can you talk about kind of the homework that he was doing on people?
At the bottom of the Hall of Justice, there were, I think, 4 people or 5 people that camped. They were girls that camped. They were his girls that camped out. This is probably the first homeless ones in L.A. They would camp out in the bushes. And so I walked in there one day, and he was on the 10th floor. We had the 10th through the 15th floor of the Hall of Justice. And I smelled marijuana. Like, God damn it, Charlie, what are you doing here? And, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And I looked over there, and there was a newspaper that was rolled up to be like a cone, like a cheerleader's cone. And I look at it, and there's a string on it. And I went, what the hell is that? And it goes down. He was by himself. We kept him there was like 10 beds in there, kept him by himself. And it went over, and in the hall on one side of it, it's about 20 feet. And on the other, to the windows. And on the other side, it's about 8 feet. And we let the trustees come in there once a week, and because they throw all their stuff out, their gum and all that stuff. And so I follow it out there, opened up, I go outside, and it went downstairs. It went out the window, this piece of string. I thought, what the heck? So I called one of the prowlers, and he came over, and they went down there, and it went all the way down to the bottom floor. And it was another one. So what we figured out he was doing, and we don't know how he got it. He had to get somebody to be able to open that door to get out there. He was pulling out his dope up through to the floor. And I forgot the original question. My age, you kind of have to forgive me for that.
No, the original question was because you and I talked before we started recording.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, okay. I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. I'm going to make this part of it. Well, this part is true. There was one deputy there who was heavy. He just didn't give anybody, the inmates, a chance, and he just didn't like Manson.
Mm-hmm.
So he was always just pushing on him. So this part I'm going to make up. Let's say that this deputy lived in West Covina, lived on Main Street. He lived in a white house with a picket fence, or a yellow house with a picket fence, and he drove a Ford station wagon with wood on the side.
Mm-hmm.
That's all made up. So this deputy got on Manson's case one day, and he said, Manson said, you know what I think I'm going to do when I get out of here? I think I'm going to get myself a Ford station wagon with wood on the side. And I'm going to probably move to a nice little community called West Covina. And I love this little street called Main Street. And I think we got some houses there that have yellow with a white picket fence. Well, about this time, Steve just went, whoa. So what we figured out was happening was Manson was getting visits and or kites coming up through the string. And he said, hey, follow this guy. So obviously they had followed him home, and don't know if anything would have happened. So they put it out. You know, when you leave a different way every day.
Mm. Wow.
Got your attention.
I would imagine so.